Hi, thanks for joining. This is a free woodworking plan tutorial for a shop stool or shop bench. We have a prior video where we laid out our pieces on a 2 foot by 4 foot sheet of 3/4 inch plywood. You can see our piece is a little bit longer here, but you get the picture. So the first cut is to trim the board to a manageable length and then cut the sides. There are two mirror image sides. You can see the rough dimensions on that are 14 inches by 16 inches. There's then a middle shelf on the stool, if you could see from the original picture. And that's 10 by 14 by 3/4 inch plywood, so we'll trim that to size. This is really a relatively simple build and it takes a smallish amount of material. The top is the largest piece at 12 inches by 18 inches. And the top has a convenient, you can put a convenient handle in, little handhold, so that you can carry or transport the bench easily. The bottom shelf has little cross pieces that allow you that hold material on that small shelf, and so you'll see we'll go ahead and cut those. So we're making a rough cut of those cross pieces or slats, and we need 4 of those. It adds stability to the bench, as well as creating a lip on the edge of the lower shelf. So each of these pieces is 1.5 by 14 inches long, and if you recall, the lower shelf is also 14 inches long. So obviously, just mimicking that width. When you have multiple pieces with the same length or same width, it really simplifies the design, or it simplifies the construction of a project, certainly the cut list. So what we end up with from this is 2 sides just rough cut as rectangular with the tapered cut and the notch to cut out. There's a mirror image piece below it. We end up with that lower shelf piece. The upper or top, which of course is the larger piece of the project, and you should probably pick your nicest wood for that. And then we have the 4 cross pieces or supports. When on the lower shelf, they act to create a lip so that material doesn't fall out or slide out, and for the underside of the upper, they add stability to the stool. On its own, it would be rather wobbly or wonky. So the next thing we have to do is cut the taper using our tapering jig to make those angled cuts on the side pieces. So what you see here is us cutting with the tapering jig, and you could do this with a circular saw, jigsaw, it really doesn't matter, but we had the tapering jig around and had to repeat the cut 4 times, so figured we might as well use that. So in this step we have to cut the little notch for the sides. We pre-cut on the table saw, we weren't too careful with it, so we ended up with a little extension of the cut, but you can see we just work our jigsaw in there, make the cut. Doesn't have to be perfect, but you know, you'll have to clean it up afterward. So repeat this for the other side, and then you'll have your side pieces with the notches cut. And this leaves us with the 2 sides with the bottom shelf or lower shelf, the slats, 2 for the shelf, 2 for underneath the upper or the top, and of course the top for our piece. And all that's left is to cut the handle in the top, and I think I'll just rough that and do it so it fits my hand. So at this point we're taking measurements, we're just measuring a center, creating a center line, and then we know we want approximately 4 inches for the handhold. And if we drill a 1-inch Forstner hole at each end and then join those with a jigsaw cut, we know that we need to be in 7.5 inches from each side, and that'll give us our marking for where we need to drill our Forstner bit hole, our 1-inch Forstner bit hole. As you can see, there's the bit there. So the next step is just to glue up the cross pieces on the lower shelf. So just a simple bead of glue. We're going to put 2 screws in each one of these, a couple inches in from the end. I like to go 2-3 inches in from the end. Plywood has a tendency to split if you don't pre-drill. As you can see, I'm doing a countersink and pilot hole here so that I don't split the plywood, and the screws are in about 3 inches. So that way you ensure a nice solid connection without any split. So we do this for both sides. You don't need glue here. I didn't put it on the underside because I wasn't sure I was going to keep the top as is, but wouldn't be a bad thing to add some glue there as well. So then we're doing a simple single pilot hole for each cross piece that goes underneath the top, and do a pilot. I'm just going to use a clamp to keep it a little tighter, easier to work with, and just put a single screw in each one of those cross pieces. You might think 2 screws would be better so you don't get any twisting of those cross pieces, but because there's screws coming down from the top, it's not really necessary. So we have our shelf assembled, and the bottom of the shelf lines up with the notch that we cut out, that little leg section. So just line that up, center it. You don't have to be crazy precise with it, but why not? So once it's all screwed off, you can see we end up with a pretty solid, sturdy piece. And then we just need to do our top. Measure in the distance plus half of the dimension of the cross piece and do your pilot holes. And then we're just going to secure the top with 2 screws for each cross piece and then 1 for each side or end piece. And just some simple sanding. We end up with a really nice stool that's really functional for our shop. Thanks for watching. We hope you liked this video. If you would, we would appreciate it if you would like the video, and if you're interested in more videos like this, subscribe to our channel. Thanks a lot.